good, everybody? Welcome to the To the Hoop podcast. I'm Jake. This is Isaiah.
Yo.
Let's get it going.
So today, we're in playoff basketball, baby.
Let's go.
All right, what's going on? What's your favorite? Give me your favorite series to watch and your least favorite series to watch.
Okay.
Which one are you not tuned into at all?
Gotcha. I'll start off and say the one that I'm least tuned into right now is probably Rockets and Warriors. I haven't been watching that game. I haven't been watching those games, and I know that's a crazy one because it's getting real interesting with Jimmy Butler going out and all of that stuff. And my most interesting, because I am biased and I am a Knicks fan, I have to go with my Knicks and the Detroit Pistons, and so far it's been back and forth winning. So yeah, I'm going with that one, man. What about you?
I think my favorite, and I want to say Lakers Bulls because of my bias as a Lakers fan,
Mhm.
but I have been really enjoying watching uh, the Clippers. I've been really enjoying watching the Clippers series. Um, that Clippers Nuggets matchup has been really good to watch, and I'm not really sure like why it's such like an intense match. But that matchup has been phenomenal. I've loved that matchup so much. It also does hold some next round significance to my Lakers. So, you know, let's see how that all shakes out. Um, so I think the one I'm watching the least is Celtics Magic.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a single. I just watched the last 2 or 3 minutes of the last game.
Yeah.
That was all. I've had zero interest in watching Celtics Magic,
Yeah.
even though the Magic did just take a game.
Yeah.
They took a game last night, so I mean, maybe it'll get interesting after that. But I think this might be Celtics in five.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too. I only watched game one, and after game one, I was like,
I didn't dare
Yeah.
watch game one. I saw the matchup and I was like, oh, Celtics easy.
yeah.
But as far as the playoffs are going, we got OKC versus the Grizz.
Mm.
OKC's up 3-0. Big injury to Ja in game 3.
Mm.
They had the Grizzlies, sorry, up 30.
Mm.
Ja goes out and then the whole team just unraveled.
Yeah.
Like OKC had a crazy comeback. And like it was really good to watch. Did you end up catching the game or catching the highlights of it?
Yeah, I ended up. I saw a little bit of the highlights, but um, honestly, I'm gonna be so real with you, man. After game one, after seeing OKC almost set records on that team, I kind of just wrote it off as a series.
I did too.
So the fact that they were up 30 at one point is something. But to blow that lead kind of just stamps it.
The basketball guys were not smiling on Memphis.
Yeah, that stamps that series for me. I think it's over with,
man. Nuggets Clippers series I just talked about. It's been a good watch.
Mm-hmm.
It has. I'm really curious to see who comes out of that because they'll play OKC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to see how that's been going. I love the playoff intensity that those two teams have brought. Nuggets Clippers has been a great series to watch. Next series we got Lakers Wolves, man. You know Lakers Wolves. We had a rough stretch game one. I know game one. The Lakers all year this year for some reason have had a problem with rest.
Mm.
If we get a break or like some days off, we come out and play the flattest game you could possibly play. Mm-hmm. Like that game one was like the worst effort I think I've seen from our team all year, except for when we came back from the All-Star break and lost to the Jazz.
Mm.
But it's another break and then come out and play so flat, no rebounding. We're not hustling. We're not doing anything. Game two, I figured we'd come back and punch them in the mouth. Come back, make a statement. That's cool. I didn't expect us to lose last night in 3. I guess Luka had a illness we were dealing with, so he was pretty lethargic out there. Reeves had his best game of the series though, which was great. LeBron had his probably best start of the series, his probably best game of the series. But he wasn't having that, man. Anthony Edwards was not having that. He shut us down. Which props to them. But I don't really see the Wolves as too big of a threat. If we do lose the series, I'm gonna be very surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we can. I think we can do it. Cavs Heat. Have you paid any attention to Cavs Heat?
I have not paid attention to the Cavs Heat either. That's kind of another one where it kind of just feels, it feels like kind of a sleeper. It feels like one team is very, very deserving and a contender, and the other team is just kind of...
It's just the Heat.
The Heat, yeah.
Cavs up 2-0.
Yeah, Cavs up 2-0.
You calling a sweep?
I think we're breaking the brooms out, man.
Yeah.
I think we break the brooms out on that one. Yep.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Pacers Bucks, another interesting series to watch.
Yeah.
Those Indiana boys.
Mm-hmm.
Those Indiana boys are real, man. They can run.
Mm-hmm.
They can run, and they can put Damian Lillard in some horrible positions.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bucks did just snatch Game 3.
Yeah.
So, what do you see for that? Are you interested in it? Does it matter to you?
Listen, man, it somewhat matters to me. I think the Bucks winning last game makes it a series at the very least. I think it makes it an interesting series. I have some questions about Doc Rivers coaching that team. I have some very serious questions about Doc Rivers coaching. Still have questions somewhat about Dame and Giannis long term.
Mm.
And just the direction of the Bucks franchise as a whole. And I think this series is really going to determine what's going to happen to that franchise. So I'm kind of interested to see what's going on in Milwaukee after this.
I wanted the Pacers to sweep the series.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I was like, legitimately, I was like, if the Pacers can sweep the series, the Bucks are going to have to do something.
Yeah.
They have to do something. And the Pacers are playing really well. They're playing a prime game. I've been enjoying them.
Mm-hmm.
I've also been really enjoying the Warriors Rockets matchup. Jimmy Butler going out does hurt.
That changes some
that
things.
Hurts the Warriors. I'm really curious to see when he returns, what that's gonna look like. I think winning. I know we talked about it a little bit off camera, but winning the non-Steph Curry minutes for the Warriors is the biggest problem they've had all season, and getting Jimmy Butler was helping them win the non-Steph Curry minutes because now they're Jimmy Butler minutes. But losing Jimmy is hurting that team phenomenally. Like that last game, Steve Kerr brought out so many players. Like Kuminga hadn't played he didn't play the play-in, hadn't played the first two. Yeah, that's gonna be something to keep an eye on. Knicks versus Pistons.
Yeah, man.
That has been a great series to watch. Those have been great games.
Yeah.
Give me the Knick fan take.
Knick fan take, man. First game, we went down by, I believe, as much as 10 in that game. The first 3 quarters of basketball was very mediocre at best. Basketball. It was very. It didn't feel like there was a whole lot of effort being given. We were losing on rebounds. We weren't boxing dudes out. We were it just kind of felt like we were going through the motions.
Playing just a really flat game.
Just playing a really flat game against a team who's very, very hungry. And, yeah, man, that first game was looking really bad, but fourth quarter came and we turned it around. Ran off 20 to nothing, and that was the game. And so we pulled that one out. Game 2, it was kind of more of the same. We expected to come into the fourth quarter and it would be the same thing. They were going to crumble. They were going to fall apart, but they stayed strong. Like Detroit put together 4 quarters of meaningful basketball in that game, and that's what hurt us because we didn't expect that out of them. Game 3, it feels like we might have made some adjustments. We put together 4 quarters of good basketball, but so did they, and it It was a very close game. There was some questionable refereeing.
That was the worst refereeing I have seen all year.
Yeah, man.
On both sides.
Yes, it was a very inconsistently called game. There was some questionable calls down the stretch.
Was it a backcourt or no?
Oh my goodness, man! I was scared, bro. I was really scared. I was watching the game and I looked over at my wife and I was like, yeah. Like if they would have challenged that, I think that might have been a changer for them. But yeah, we pulled out game 3. It's been a very entertaining series to watch. Detroit is no slouch, man. They're a good team. They just have to. Their age sometimes gets the best of them. Their inexperience sometimes gets the best of them. But you give this team some time to gel and give them some experience, they're going to be for real.
I think the thing with Detroit is that their vets are showing up.
Yeah.
They are Dennis Schroeder is showing up.
Showing up and
right
showing
now.
out. Yes,
Tobias
sir.
Harris, when not in foul trouble, has been solid. Tim Hardaway Jr. last night.
Yeah, caught fire.
I knew, or not last night, but last game. I knew after game 2 when he had a bad shooting performance. That's the thing with Tim Hardaway Jr. is he's either garbage or he's great, and there's no in between.
Yep.
So I knew after he had that bad shooting performance in game 2, game 3, he was about to come out going crazy, and he sure did, dude. He sure came out lighting it up. So like those 3 are essential for them down the stretch. Malik Beasley cannot shoot like he did in game 3. That was the worst. That was terrible.
That was real
he
bad.
Single-handedly pretty much shot them out of the game.
Yeah.
Especially the first half. Really, really bad. But Cade, the vets, everyone, Jalen Duren, everyone is. That Detroit team is locked in. So how much of a actual threat do you think they are to sending you guys home?
I think I think you got to take them seriously.
Yeah,
100%. I think the whole issue with game 1 and game 2 was that we weren't taking them seriously, because in game 1 we won. Sure, we won, but it was because in the fourth quarter and because of Cam Payne.
Yep.
Cam Payne's energy in game 1 is so sad that a role player had to be the guy to come out and show our star players how to actually play with effort and heart and desire. But Cam Payne is wholeheartedly the reason why we won game 1, and that's crazy. In game 2, we dropped the ball because we weren't prepared. So you have to take this team seriously.
You guys thought after that loss in game 1 that the Pistons were just going to roll over game 2, and they just did not. Like, they just did not.
No.
I think now, after game 3, I think that now the Knicks are going to be locked into that this is a fight. Like, that this isn't like just some run-of-the-mill team. They're going to have to actually beat this team.
Yeah, I think now they're much more locked in, especially after I seen the way that Cat was playing more aggressively, and like...
About time.
Yeah, I agree.
About time,
I agree.
Cat.
And you know, and a lot of people know that I am not a Karl Anthony Towns fan. However, I am the type of person to give somebody their flowers when I think they deserve it. And Cat last game was showing some signs of aggression. He was sticking up for his teammates. He stepped in for Mitch. Yeah, he also just had a really good game, a really good performance overall. So I think if this team locks in, I say we win this series, but you have to take Detroit as a legitimate threat.
You gotta take them serious.
You have to take them serious. That is the key.
Let's call some series.
Okay.
OKC Grizz. OKC up 3-0. Are we breaking the brooms out?
Yes.
I agree.
I'm breaking the brooms out.
I agree with breaking the brooms out on the Grizz, man. No Ja.
Yeah. That's a wrap.
It's over with.
It's a wrap.
Nuggets Clippers.
Okay.
Nuggets up 2-1, but some thriller games. Personally, I want to see this series go to 7.
I do too.
Who are you calling as the winner?
That's so tough, man.
Because you can't count out Jokic.
You can't count out Jokic, and you can't count out Kawhi.
Yeah, with Kawhi, a healthy Kawhi, playing like he is.
That's a toss up, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna go with team success and experience, and I'm gonna say Denver's gonna take that series.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. I want the Clippers to win this series.
Mm.
I think that a healthy Kawhi is doing well. I think that James Harden is playing well. I think the rest of their team is locked in. And we're not asking why Batum is in anymore.
Nah.
But I think that the Clippers can win this series if they can contain the others.
Mm.
I think that you gotta let Jokic be Jokic. Zubac he's playing well, he's playing great. That's helping. I think a lot of teams get so concerned with trying to stop Jokic that they make a defensive scheme against Jokic, and then he gets everyone else involved, and then everyone else starts lighting up, and then you have to guard other players. If you can keep some of their rhythm guys out of rhythm, Michael Porter Jr., you keep Michael Porter Jr. out of rhythm, that's perfect. Aaron Gordon, you keep him out of that dunker spot, out of those corners, make him shoot top of the key wing threes. I think I'll settle for that. I will settle for an Aaron Gordon wing three with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. I'm okay with that. You keep those other guys contained and let Jokic be Jokic, and I think the Clippers can pull that out. Jamal Murray is going to be essential. He's another one that you're gonna have to guard up on Jamal Murray. You're gonna have to actually keep him contained because you don't want to let Jokic be Jokic and then let Murray get rolling. I think their X factor is Russell Westbrook. If Russell Westbrook can come out and be triple double, be the guy who just makes the right play, Denver has a really good chance, and that's why the Clippers have to stop the others. If the Clippers stop the others, I think the Clippers win the series. But if they let the others get rolling, Denver all the way. However, I would love to see this series go to 7. Absolutely love to see the series go to 7. Lakers Wolves.
Man.
You got it's not a bad series.
It's not a bad series at all. The way that Ant has been talking the talk and backing it up has been pretty crazy.
Do you think so?
You
think he's been backing it up?
Listen,
I can say for sure in Game 3.
Okay, I think he's been backing it up.
I think they won Game 1 because of Naz Reid and
okay, yeah,
Naz Reid and
Jaden McDaniels, right?
Was that McDaniels or was that it wasn't DiVincenzo? They had 2 bench players. I want to say maybe it was McDaniels.
Okay.
Maybe it was Jalen McDaniels who had like 25, and then Naz Reid had 23, and it's like we can't let the role players come out like that.
Yeah.
So like Ant did a part, but I don't know if I can get. I think they won Game 1 because of the role players.
And I'm not talking about Ant with scoring, right? I think because definitely not. I think it's more of like there's certain vibe dudes, right? There's certain
guys who have to set the tone.
Certain guys who set tone setters, right? And I think the way that Ant sets the tone for his team with the intensity that he plays with, regardless of how much he's producing,
I can agree with that.
I think as a leader, I think Ant he's been talking, he's been showing up, he's been backing it up with his effort, which has also been rubbing off on his teammates.
Okay.
And so yeah, man, I think it's definitely a series. I think it's to me, it's one of those things with the Knicks and Pistons, right? I definitely, going into this, Lakers.
Yeah.
Lakers was my unquestioned pick for who wins this series.
But now that we're in Game 3.
Now that we're in Game 3 and I've been watching the games, and it's been kind of those things like what you said, where you get some rest, guys don't take it seriously, guys aren't playing, guys aren't showing up. Now we have a series, and for me, I say that if the Lakers can't seem to take this team seriously, the Wolves might have this, man.
Okay.
But off of the eye test, off of what I've seen throughout the season, I would say Lakers.
Hmm.
But who I ultimately think wins the series, man, is crazy. I think that the Luca and LeBron team needs more playoff gelling time. I'm gonna say the Wolves take this series.
And how many?
I see 7.
You see it's going to
I
7?
see it going to 7.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, obviously, I'm going late.
Yeah, right.
I do agree with your point.
Mm.
Ant has been a great tone setter. He's been very difficult to defend, and his passing has gotten a lot better as the series progresses. But I saw some things in Game Three that I think, without sick Luca, I think that we would have picked on a little bit more. Mike Conley,
Yeah.
they've been picking on Mike Conley a lot on defense, and some of the Lakers sets that they were running have just been really good. And it's forcing the Mike Conley on LeBron switch up, the Mike Conley on Luca, on AR. These are guys that he just can't guard. Uh, I think same thing with DiVincenzo. They've been
Mm.
attacking DiVincenzo a lot, and they have some great defenders on their team, but they switch a lot, and the Lakers run a lot of screens to get a lot of switches, and so I think that they're going to keep attacking the person they want. But conversely, the Wolves also do that to us with like Reeves. Um, so it's definitely attacking those guys, getting Gobert out on the 3 point line, expose Rudy Gobert every playoffs. I'm a big fan of getting Rudy Gobert out of the playoffs. As the league, I think everyone is tired of Rudy Gobert.
Yes.
So the quicker we get Rudy Gobert out of the playoffs, the quicker we can all be Laker fans. Go Lakers. But I think I'm gonna go Lakers, and I'll agree with you and say 7. Um, Rockets Warriors tied 1-1. No Jimmy. What are you thinking for the Rockets and the Warriors?
Rockets and Warriors, man. I'm gonna say,
It's been a great series.
yeah, man. I'm gonna say, I think the Rockets are still young.
Mm-hmm.
I think while they are a very talented team, they have depth, they have talent. I don't think this is quite their year. I don't think they're there yet. So I'm gonna go Warriors in 6.
Yeah.
I'm going Warriors.
I think it completely depends on the health of Jimmy Butler.
Mm.
If Jimmy Butler can't come back healthy, if he can't come back and play up to Jimmy Butler standards, the playoff Jimmy standards, I think the Rockets win this. I think they just have. I do agree with you that they're inexperienced, but I think that the players they have are good enough to get out of the first round. When Steph's out of the game, that team has no direction.
Mm.
Uh, and with Steve Kerr kind of resorting to all of his tactics and putting in this guy in Game 3, you can kind of see the wheels were spinning. There was just so much going on in that game, and I think the Rockets could take advantage of that in the non-Steph minutes. However, you can never really count out Steph Curry because at any point he could just go for 40.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go Rock if Jimmy Butler doesn't come. Well, I think Jimmy will come back during the series. But it just depends on how he plays. This is another series I want to see 7.
Mm.
I want to see 7 games. I'm going Rockets in 7.
Okay. Okay.
This is also a pick made completely based on the fact that I don't want to see the Warriors in the playoffs if we win. I think that we could. I think we could beat the Warriors. I don't really have a problem with it, but the problem is like I would rather see an inexperienced Rockets team in the next round
That makes sense.
than I would see the Warriors coming off of that type of train in the next round. That's what I'm hoping for. Cavs Heat.
I don't
Brooms.
know. Yeah, I don't know if we even need to
Brooms.
talk about that one, man. Yeah.
Brooms. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, Evan Mobley,
Yeah.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, man.
Shout out.
Shout out Evan
Shout
Mobley,
out.
man. Mm-hmm.
Pacers Bucks. Indy's up 2-1.
Yeah, man.
What's your call on the series?
I think I'm calling. I'm liking Pacers in 6, man.
In 6, you give the Bucks another game?
I think I give the Bucks one more game.
Okay.
Um, I think, and that game is kind of just me like thinking maybe it's a game where they just come out kind of flat. The Pacers might just come out kind of flat.
I don't know, man.
There, you gotta account for maybe a possible Hallie injury, maybe I don't know. I'm feeling Pacers in 6. That's what first came to me, and I'm going with it. Yeah.
uh, I'm going Pacers in 5.
Okay.
Uh, I don't think the Bucks. I wanted this to be a sweep,
Mm,
but Gary Trent Jr. was not having that last
mm-hmm.
night. He was not having getting swept. What 30? What do you have? 38 or
Crazy,
like 30?
man.
Yeah. Gary Trent Jr. Phenomenal game last night. But he was the reason they won. I don't think Gary Trent Jr. is doing that again, man. I don't think he's
That's
doing that
fair.
again. I think the Pacers are picking on Dame.
Mhm.
Uh, and I think they've started doing what I was just saying that the Rockets need to do against or the Clippers need to do against the Nuggets
Mhm.
is they're letting Giannis be Giannis, but they're shutting down the others. And if you can continuously shut down the others, I don't really see the Bucks winning another game. I also think this is going to force the Bucks to make some changes, which is going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be
The
great.
off season will be very interesting for
hmm
them.
Knicks versus Pistons. Knicks up 2-1. I need to hear your thought
Yeah,
process on
man.
this.
I'm gonna err on the side of being a positive Knicks fan. I'm gonna talk positively about my team.
Okay, this
I'm
is
gonna
new.
speak life into my team. This is new because we've been on a string of bad years. But recently we've been turning it around. I'm gonna finally speak some life into my team, and I'm gonna say that Game 3 kind of opened some eyes. There were some comments made by some players that hopefully
Mm.
registered with the Knicks. Hopefully Tibbs can realize that adjustments need made, especially on role players. We
On the
can't be
vets.
letting in the vets. Yeah,
Yeah.
we cannot be letting Dennis Schroeder run off the way that he's been running off on us. Um, and I think it's kind of like it would be smart to do what some other teams are doing. Let their stars be their stars and shut down their role players. Let Cade be Cade.
Yes.
And if Cade is the only person thriving, let's not send doubles his way. Let's one on one, and then the rest of the role players, the vets, we're gonna just keep them contained. And I think if we can do that, I think if we show up with some actual effort, like we actually want to win this series, I say Knicks in 6
I think Cat and Bridges have to be big for you guys
for sure.
because Brunson is going to do his thing in the clutch.
Hmm.
He's gonna do his thing in the clutch. Like even in game 3, he didn't have that great of a game. I think him and Cade basically canceled each other out by the third.
Mm.
The last like 5 minutes of that fourth, clutch player of the year, Jalen
Mm.
Brunson came out and did his thing. But I think that for you guys to not be in that position of such a close game where those calls, because like there's some bad refing, so
Yeah,
some of those calls could have completely changed the trajectory of that game.
100%.
And I think that for the Knicks to not put themselves in that position in the first place, I think you need Brunson. I mean, not Brunson. You need Mikal Bridges and you need Cat to be them. I need a couple more threes from Mikal. I need him to just shoot better. I need him to attack. He's long. He can get in and he's a great defender. He can get into a lot of people. And you need Cat to go out there and be Timberwolves regular season Cat. Like you
Mm.
need no foul baiting, no BS. You need to get in the post, take those guys. There's not a lot of guys that the Pistons have
Yeah.
that are skilled enough to stop Cat.
Mm.
They got some strong guys. I think Duran, I think Isaiah Stewart are some strong guys who can affect Cat. And they've been putting Tobias
Tobias
Harris
Harris on him. He
on him,
needs to take more
and
advantage
he
of that.
needs to start taking him. And I think that's why the Pistons are doing because they know Cat's not trying to take advantage. He's not trying to play in the post. He's trying to play like a guard.
Mm.
And if you're gonna have somebody play like a guard, put Tobias Harris on him to help lock him down.
Mm.
So if he needs to play like a big, and I think that will be the Knicks' ticket to getting out of this series easily.
Mm.
Conversely, if they don't do that and keep playing these games that they're playing, you're getting these young guys on the Pistons kind of used to being in these close playoff games. And that the thing is you want to use that against them, right? You want them to be in that game and go, ooh, close playoff game. The young guys, lights are a little bright. Let the guys on the Knicks, who are a bit more experienced, kind of work. But if we keep having every game be a close game, the Pistons are going to get used to that. Then you get those other guys on the Pistons going with the vets. It's going to be dangerous because right now in the fourth, you really can only rely for the Pistons on Cade, Malik Beasley when he's shooting well, Hardaway Jr. when he's shooting well, and Dennis Schroeder who has been magnificent through the series. So if you can take out all the rest of the team in the fourth, but when you have to start looking out for guys like Thompson, you have to start looking out for Tobias. You have to start looking out for Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart. When you have to start looking out for all of those guys, and they play such good team basketball and they're so gritty, that's going to be really tough for the Knicks in the last couple games if they keep keeping these games close. And plus, I think the Knicks have a lot of soft.
Yes.
I think they do.
Yep.
And Cat is the main one, and Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren getting used to those tight playoff games are going to have him in hell. They're going to have him doing awfully. So that's going to be something I think that we should watch out for. I am going to go. I don't know, man. As I've been watching the season, doing this podcast, I've become a little bit more of a Knicks fan than I used to be. I used to like hate the Knicks, but I've been,
a lot of people did.
I've been watching the Knicks a lot lately. But if they're gonna keep playing how they're playing, Detroit stand up, Pistons in 7.
I hear you. I think the series could go either way. Yep.
Celtic versus Magic. Celtic are up 2-1. Do you think the Magic start rolling now? You think they might have found something, or do you think it's?
I just don't see it, man.
Gentlemen's?
I don't think it's much of a fair fight for Orlando. I see maybe if Jalen Suggs is with Orlando, they put up a little bit of a better fight. Jalen Suggs is a very solid defender. I think he could do some more for you, for your defensive versatility. But I just don't see them shutting down Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis.
Yeah.
And it's just
Sixth man of the year.
Peyton Pritchard,
Drew Holiday.
Their
just
team
so
is just
deep.
too deep.
Deep.
The list goes on and on. Sam Hauser is low-key a slept-on role player. Cornette,
great body. Yeah.
It's going to be too much for
Al
Orlando
Horford.
at the end. Al Horford,
Christ, yeah, the Celtics, man.
Yeah, the list goes on and on. Yeah,
the Celtics are going to be real tough.
They are. I'm saying Celtics, and I say the last Orlando Magic will be their last win. I'm saying
Celtics in 5.
I'm saying Celtics in 5. Yeah,
I'm gonna agree with you and go Celtics in 5. I think Celtics in 5 just makes the most sense. Like it does. I will be very surprised if this series goes to 6 or 7.
Yeah,
I just don't see the Celtics dropping another game like that. I think Joe Mazzulla probably got in their ass about losing this game. He's like, this is supposed to be a sweep.
Yeah,
this is supposed to be a grade A, easy sweep. People have been talking all year about how the East is bad. The rest of the teams in the East suck. There's no way we're losing a game to the Magic right now, you know. Yeah, I think that's going to make for some interesting next round matchups. So as the Knicks, you guys will play the winner of Celtics Magic. So say you guys can beat the Pistons. Obviously, you want to see the Magic. Yeah. But that's probably not going to happen.
I don't think that's in the
Unless
cards.
something catastrophic happens, that's probably not going to What do you think is the best way for the Knicks to beat the Suns in round 2? Or can it happen?
I think for us to win the series, first of all, defensively, we have to put Jalen Brunson on the weakest player on the court, which is hard because Boston doesn't really have
Yeah.
weak
Who is that?
players. Who is that, right? And so to conserve his energy on offense, I feel like we would have to put, him on their weakest player.
It would have to be Holiday.
It would have to be Holiday.
Yeah.
And that's
But I think the Celtics are going to attack Jalen.
100%.
I think the Celtics are going to abuse Jalen Brunson. They're going to put him in a lot of pick and rolls, a lot of switches where he's trying to guard Porzingis or he's trying to guard Jaylen Brown. I think that the Celtics are going to be a problem for him with all those switches. I don't know who he's supposed to guard, man. I don't know what they're supposed to do.
And then with I'd wanted to see OG guarding their best offensive player, but you can argue that Jaylen Brown some nights can be their best offensive player. So maybe it's just making the adjustment in game of who's hot,
Tibbs is
not good about making adjustments at all. So it's obviously the adjustment to be made is who is hot right now, who is their best scorer. Okay, throw OG on him. And you got to make that adjustment.
That might have to be a halftime adjustment.
Yeah.
Genuinely. You might have to play and just watch the whole first half and see who has the hot hand and put OG starting second half on him. And then, like, if Tatum has one of those games where he goes off in the fourth, they're just gonna have to make that adjustment. That's gonna be really tough for the Knicks to deal with.
Yeah, there's so much depth, so much versatility on the Celtics.
But Bridges is a good defender.
Yeah, for sure.
Long. He's a good defender.
For sure, but the weakness with Bridges as a defender is that if you get a bigger body on him, say Jason Tatum is a phenomenal post player near the basket,
and he knows how to
use it, and that's what I've been seeing in the regular season. Jason Tatum catches the ball in the post on Mikal Bridges, barbecue chicken every time.
So do you think a better thing would be if they put OG dedicated to Tatum, since they'll have that same body style, and put Mikal dedicated to Jaylen Brown?
Yeah.
And then that way, at least because Brown's not really too much of a bigger body. He does have a decent post game, but I think that Mikal Bridges guarding Jaylen Brown sounds a lot better. Than Mikal on Tatum.
I think that would have to be the adjustment that gets made, and then obviously if Brown's just having one of those games, then flip OG onto Brown. But yeah, man, that's exactly what it's gonna come down to. In order for us to pull that series out, it would have to be adjustments. I think it is a coaching. I mean, in addition to just the Celtics just being tough,
Tibbs might coach you guys out of that series.
Yeah,
genuinely, if you guys make it to that series, Tibbs might single-handedly coach you guys out of that series.
Yeah,
because he is not good at making adjustments.
No.
I also don't know what answer you guys are going to have for Porzingis.
Yeah,
because it's not.
It's not Cat.
It's not Cat at all. And I honestly will be surprised if they even put Porzingis on Cat on
defense.
You don't. I think they're going to put Al Horford.
Yeah,
they'll put Al Horford on Cat and have Porzingis just roam. Because who's you guys is small forward would be OG. Yeah, you don't really have to worry too much about Josh Hart offensively, except for rebounding. Like rebounding, and just kind of being like he's a good cutter, being in the right space, the right time. You got Drew Holiday guarding Brunson, and then worst case, you get a switch off and you got Tatum, or you get a switch off and you got Brown. Yeah, that's gonna, and even I think you guys are gonna have to win the others' minutes. You're gonna have to win the minutes where Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser. You're gonna have to win Luke Cornett. You're gonna have to win those. So whoever you guys keep in the game, whether it be Cat or Brunson, is gonna have to go off. They're gonna have to go off. I think you guys are going to need some big nights from your role players. I think Deuce McBride is going to have to
He's gonna
be
have to snap.
essential
Mm-hmm.
for knocking down shots because that way it will at least dedicate something to McBride. Someone will be there. You can't leave McBride to go help on Brunson. Cat's gonna have to be. He might have to change that role from what we were just talking about with the Pistons, where he's inside. He might just have to be an outside player
Mm-hmm.
in that series. That's gonna be a weird series. That's gonna have a lot of adjustments, and Tibbs is the worst adjustment coach
Maybe in the entire
I
league.
can see in the
Yeah.
league. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna be, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun to watch though. I
Mm-hmm.
think the problem is that the seeding in the East is just so weird because it's not like 2-3. It's 2-3.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's gonna be something. I don't. What do you call that series?
Like record wise, like
Yeah,
the
like if you're going, what's that series? Give me the winner. Obviously, it's not set yet, but if you get Knicks versus Celtics in round two,
yeah. Knicks Celtics round 2. If I'm going off of what I saw in the regular season, if I'm going off of what I've seen in this series with Detroit, Celtics in 5.
oh yeah, they
Celtics in
cannot keep the Celtics around like that,
no,
like they're doing with
no,
Detroit.
no,
Oh no way.
no, 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 no. They will get blown out by
Mm-hmm.
at least 20 points every single game if they
Yes.
come out the way they've come out
Yes.
against Detroit. Celtics in 5. That'd be no question if I'm going off of what I've seen, even in the regular
Mm-hmm.
season against the Celtics. Um, However, if they can change their play style, if Tibbs can make adjustments, if things can change, I can see that I'm gonna be so real, bro. I don't know if there's any universe that I can see the Knicks winning that series.
Yeah.
I do. I wanna be a hopeful fan. I wanna speak life into my team. I don't know if this is our year. Last year,
Oh yeah.
I had
Oh yeah.
before all the injuries, I had
Yes.
the feeling 100%. I'm like,
Mhm.
this could be our year. But the drop off,
Mhm.
from last year to this year has just
Significant.
been significant and so crazy to watch. And like I don't think we realized how big it was to lose the effort players that we lost, how
Mhm.
big that was going to be for us. Hartenstein is huge.
Yes.
Hartenstein
He was a
was
huge loss.
Hartenstein was a big blow that completely wiped out my happiness of the Bridges
Mhm.
trade. Okay, that was huge. And then to go ahead and trade Julius, which I was relatively okay with
Hey
trading
man, let's
Julius.
talk about Julius Randle right now, man.
Yeah, bro.
Julius Randle,
Julius Randle, this playoff
he has
series,
been great in this
he
playoff series
has.
against them.
And if that is the player that we could have had, I would have had no
Yeah.
problem. I would have had
He
no problem
wasn't
keeping
that
Julius.
wasn't him on
But
the
that
Knicks.
wasn't him
Yeah.
on the Knicks. No. He is a completely different player now. I would have loved this version of Julius
Mhm.
Randle on the Knicks.
And DiVincenzo.
And
Yeah,
DiVincenzo.
getting rid of DiVincenzo like
Vincenzo
that.
was tough. And as soon as that trade went down, I was like, that might be the season.
And that
And
he'd be such an asset to you guys in
yes, he
that
would.
series, man. He would be
Hmm.
such an asset to you
He
guys.
would. I mean, imagine DiVincenzo, the production he was giving us as a starter last year, and then if he accepted a role off the bench,
Mm-hmm.
man,
Yeah.
we're talking a whole different year, a whole different season.
I
Um,
mean, even a small lineup. I think that small lineup, like if the one like you guys had a great team for like running last year. You guys ran and you guys were a good like running gun team. But the lineup of like Brunson at the 1, DiVincenzo at the 2, Hart at the 3, Bridges at 4, and OG at 5
mhm,
would have been a problem.
yeah,
Like you guys would have been a problem to guard,
hmm
to run around, play 5 out. Yeah, you guys would have been a problem to guard
yeah.
in that series.
I absolutely hated the panic move that felt like trading
Yes.
for Cat was. I feel like after we lost Hartenstein, trading for Cat was a panic move,
Yes.
and I feel like we didn't is a move that we didn't need to make. At the most, I think we could have signed a free agent center. Like we could have taken a flyer on Mo Bamba. Listen, he hasn't had a great career up until this
Mhm.
point, but the dude still has promise. I think he's only what, like 24 or
Yeah,
25 still.
he has a big
He
upside.
has a
I
big
just don't think he
upside.
gets a lot of. I don't think he gets the time a lot of times.
Yeah.
He doesn't really get the opportunity.
Mo Bamba was out there. We could have brought him in. Former New Yorker at that.
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, he would have been a crowd
he
favorite
would have been
too.
a crowd favorite, and maybe he could have played off of that. And I thought that was going to be the move. That seemed the logical move to me after we lost
I
Hartenstein.
think that works for Deuce McBride as well.
Mm,
I don't have a problem with Deuce McBride, but I don't think Deuce McBride is really like a great player. I think Deuce McBride rides the crowd though.
mm,
I think he catches that ball, he hears that Deuce, and
Deuce.
he's like, "Oh, that's a bucket!" Like it's
Mm,
every time.
mm,
Yeah, I think he rides that. So I think Mo Bamba could have rode that same wave.
mm.
Yeah,
For sure, man. So yeah, I just don't see any kind of reality in which my squad this year can pull it out. Last year, I probably would have had a lot more faith pre-injuries. Um,
you need
but yeah,
OG with some baddies in the crowd.
yeah,
OG with some
yeah,
baddies in the crowd turns into Jordan Poole.
yeah, man.
Yeah, I need a 30-point night from OG. If OG could play like that,
Yeah,
if OG could
consistently.
play like that consistently, man, I think you guys would. I still don't know if it would win you the series, but I think it would be a big help. I think right now he's just kind of he's not really a liability on offense. He still can like he'll still get some buckets, but like when you have to worry about him doing those two dribble step backs, those fadeaways, and when you have to worry about a scoring OG, I think that changes the Celtics dynamic on defense.
Mhm.
Because right now I think that they're kind of like, we can kind of give, we could help off of OG and just have somebody rotate. But if he's scoring like he was with
The
some,
end of the season,
yeah,
yeah.
I think there would have to be someone who just sticks on OG. Like, sorry, Tatum, don't help, stay on OG.
Mm,
But like, yeah, you guys just need to. Everyone needs to play to their potential almost for you
yeah.
guys to win that series.
Mm,
So I agree with you. I don't know if there's really
I don't know if
a
there's,
space. Yeah, I don't know if
yeah.
there's a space for you guys to win that
Maybe
series, man.
injuries.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, listen, but
I'm
maybe
sorry,
injuries.
Tatum, but we might need that Achilles, brother.
Yeah,
We might need that off you.
yeah, man. But yeah, I just can't see it happening. Not this year.
But second round,
Yeah.
second round will still be not bad. That's not a complete loss of the season.
Mhm.
I think you guys, as long as you guys don't lose to the Pistons, you guys lose to the Pistons.
Oh yeah, that's an off
Yeah, you
season.
guys
That's
lose
an
to the
off season to
Pistons.
watch. I
Somebody's
think.
out of there.
Yep, I think
Someone's
so.
out of there.
Hmm.
As a Knicks fan, I know that you are not too good on Tibbs and Cat, and you kind of go back and forth on who you would like to see go first. Say you lose to the Pistons, who has?
I'm gonna say Tibbs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Tibbs because I think that I think the cat experiment needs at least 2 years.
Okay.
I think while I haven't necessarily agreed or loved everything I've seen with this team and Cat this year, I do think it's unfair to just ship him off and write him off after just one season, especially being brought in so late into the off
So
season.
hastily.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so hastily and having to rush him getting ready with this team for
Mhm.
basically like 2 weeks at
Yeah.
the most.
For him to go out and play 40 minutes every game.
Yeah, that has to be an adjustment to make, man. So I'm gonna say Cat has to get one more year, um, especially for the front office to justify that trade that they made. That got a lot of fans upset, losing DiVincenzo that fast after he was only there for one season.
Yep.
So I think Cat needs one more season to redeem that he can make that team a contender. But as far as Tibbs, he has had years now. He has had years to make it out of the second round of the playoffs. He has yet to do so. I think if he made an Eastern Conference Finals at the least, I feel like that would prove to the team that he is worthy of being a
Mhm.
championship coach. But he's just not done that recently.
Hmm.
And so because of those things, I'm gonna say that and just his inability to make adjustments on the fly, I think makes Tibbs the first one who has to go. But
Yeah.
yeah, from like an
Oh,
outside perspective, somebody watching the Knicks, who do you think is a bigger um, potential problem for that team?
Um, I think that Tibbs is a. I think he's the main issue
Mm,
next.
I
I
agree.
think that he doesn't really run any sets. He doesn't really have great play calls. Not that he doesn't run any sets, but they're not really ever like great plays. Like there's rarely been a time I've watched a Knicks game this season where they have ran a play and I've been like, ooh, I like that play. Oh, I like that set. That's cool. It's always just been like get the
Jalen
ball to
Brunson
Brunson.
ISO.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even like the time periods where I know we have talked about a couple games we've watched where they've been in close, tight games, and Tibbs calls a timeout with 5-6 seconds left, and they're running a play, and it's just a Brunson ISO, and it's like we didn't run a single play, you didn't try to do anything, you didn't run a back screen, you know what I mean? We're not doing anything. We're just going, yep, give Brunson the ball, and just everybody else stand around, and then it generates a bad shot. You guys lose the game, and then it's like, what was the play call? Why did you take the timeout? Because you could have called that from the bench.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could have called that during play from the bench. Brunson ISO. That's all you had to do. He overplays those players, and I think it comes back to hurt you guys a lot in the postseason. I think especially the further you guys' postseason goes on, when all your players are playing 38, 40 minutes a game, injuries start piling up, people start playing lethargically and tired. And I just think that's just not a great thing for a coach to do in general. I don't think Tom Thibodeau is a good coach.
He's not.
Cat, however, is another big problem, but I think another big issue on it's how it's being used. I feel like they're just letting Cat kind of just go out and do whatever, and they're letting him play soft. I think you guys should go out and get the Nuggets coach.
Mike Malone. Yeah.
I think if you guys got Mike Malone would look at Cat and he would go, "You need to play. You need to stop playing soft. You're gonna, get your teammates involved, but we're gonna get you the ball in the post. We're gonna make you bully these defenders." I mean, I've seen countless times where Cat's got a switch on a smaller guy, and he's shooting a 3 or like a fadeaway jumper over Austin Reeves, and it's like, what are you doing? Take him to the hoop. So I think that a coach that is going to force that into Cat will help Cat's game, and that will elevate the Knicks. I hope that will make him less of a soft player. That's yet to be seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you guys lose that Piston series, you guys got to get rid of Tom Thibodeau almost the same day, almost that day. Yeah, like as soon as the series is over, there needs to be a Shams notification an hour later.
Post game.
Yeah.
So,
post
he needs to be notified post game.
Tom Thibodeau has been fired as the Knicks coach immediately. I think that would be fantastic. Yeah. Episode 7, we're locked in.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy the playoffs. We'll be back.
Peace.